We were talking about the active shooter response at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. The U.S. Department of Justice Cops Office conducted an after-action report after the tragedy that occurred there, where 19 children were killed and 2 teachers. So we were discussing specifically leadership, incident command, communications, and tactics and equipment, which are all part of our report that we released in January of this year. So there were a lot of findings in the report. The report has over 140 observations, which are similar to findings. What we found, though, is main piece is that there are cascading failures that led to the incident. So this was cascading failures in pre-incident and planning, as well as a response to the active shooter response and post-incident. One of the biggest ones in our report is that we are recommending that law enforcement agencies do 8 hours of training a year on active shooter response. But it's not just 8 hours of training on a PowerPoint. It is 8 hours scenario-based, stress-induced training to really prepare our officers for these really difficult situations.
Those officers that first responded to the school acted with great courage. They didn't hesitate. There was no hesitation. They went right through that hallway, right to the classroom. They stopped the classroom for a moment until shots rang out, and then they went back. It was thereafter where communication started settling in terms of let's negotiate. The words barricaded subject may have been uttered out, and those things stalled the forward momentum. And we've learned through this critical incident that once you stop that forward momentum, that courage for the officers to go through that deadly funnel, the funnel of death, if you will, in that door, starts to be second guessed. In this particular case, they had the advantageous position of having 11 officers within 3 minutes flood that hallway. All of their sensors were activated, so there's no guessing as to what's happening here. There's smoke in the air, there's a smell of gunpowder, there's a noise of a rifle round going off. Had the officers made entry at that moment in time, lives would have been saved. And that's the moment in time where leadership matters. That's a difficult pill to swallow, but all evidence, all information that we've gathered, all witness statements, video, audio, on-scene assessments, and indicates to us that there was no hesitation in terms of the initial response, but then it stops. And it's that moment in time where bold leadership needs to kick in to say, it's your job. You took an oath of office. You swore to uphold the Constitution. Their number one job is not to catch burglars and robbers or traffic violators. Their number one job is to protect the constitutional rights of all of our citizens. In this particular case, those kids were begging for peace and tranquility. And those officers, unfortunately, did not enter that classroom to uphold the oath of office that they all took, including the chief of police. And I take that wholeheartedly because oftentimes we talk about the great courage that officers show across the country. And 99.9% of the time, officers do a great job. It's this one fraction of a percent that the officers failed that highlights the importance of what officers do, and more importantly, the courage that a chief has to have to make sure that the pre-planning and preparation is done way before. What should be done is to make sure that officers have the equipment, then the training, right? And then the focus, a mission focus is really important, what to do, and then the leadership to support that. And I think chiefs of police have to be willing to put their jobs on the line to ensure that they have all of those available to them.